Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Dunleebletter, the editor of CDN Magazine, with part two of my special interview with Jim Estill, the outgoing CEO of Synnex Canada. Jim, welcome again.
Thank you.
Jim, I want to get into some of your achievements during your career. It amazes me that any distributor would not give Apple or Acer the time of day in Canada. But you brought these two iconic brands to the channel. What did you see in these companies that you wanted to partner with them?
Well, part of it is my fail often, fail fast, fail cheap mantra. So although those are brands that you recognize, I also did other brands that you don't recognize. And quite honestly, when I did Apple, Apple did ask for presentations and other distributors did present.
Okay.
I just presented obviously what Apple thought was a more compelling story, and that's how I got Apple. At the time I did Acer, the name of the company was actually Multitech. They were just a smaller company. And as a second-tier distributor at that time, smaller distributor, you often have to go to a second tier, go to a niche, go to something that's not name brand, and that's what I did, and then I would grow with those companies.
You made so many deals, many of them quite well and well thought out, I thought. I want to bring up Daisy Tech, which was struggling at the time you acquired them. What did you see in that business that you wanted to acquire them?
What I liked about Daisy Tech is they had a niche, which was toners and inks supplies. So that was a good niche. It was a good company with good people in Canada. Their parent company was bankrupt in the States. I bought it actually from a Texas bankruptcy court. But I like niches, and I also saw an opportunity to gain share in a niche. So subsequent to buying Daisy Tech, we merged with Synnex, which also had reasonable share in supplies, and we bought Azerty, and so those three moved us forward to where Synnex is now the largest distributor by far of all toners, all inks. And if you do a lot of one thing, you get good at doing it. So your warehouse is optimized for it, your buying is optimized, your systems are optimized, your intelligence, your knowledge of your people, the way you do it, it's just all optimized around that. Where if you don't have a niche and you're everything to everybody, it's very, very tough to thrive.
Yeah, for sure. You were also one of the first investors in RIM. Can you tell me a little bit of the background from that partnership?
Well, I don't want to overemphasize my involvement. I did invest in RIM before they were public, and I did join the board before they were public. So I've seen a huge ride. When I joined RIM's board, I was the bigger company, and I think I was public at that time. RIM was not yet public. I was in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. I was one of the bigger wheels. I was in a technology association with those guys, and so I got to know them that way. Now, if I go to the States and say, I run Synnex, they sort of say, who? It doesn't matter, over $1 billion in sales, almost $2 billion in sales, they don't care. But you say, oh, and I'm on the RIM board, RIM, we know that. So it's been interesting, and then RIM's also had a lot of very interesting legal precedent-setting cases, the patent case and whatnot. So it's been a real learning experience. I've really enjoyed my time with RIM.
Okay. Now, CDN made you a top newsmaker of the year for your deal and getting yourself acquired by Synnex. Why did you want to do that deal?
I only did it so I could be newsmaker of the year, Paolo. You know that.
No, that's not true. Not with your entrepreneurial spirit, my friend.
Well, you see, when you're an entrepreneur, you always have entrepreneurial fear. So you're always worried what's going to happen next. And I had at that time 25 years of pretty good growth and earnings and sales, and everything was good, but you're always worried what's going to happen. I liked Synnex's efficiency, and I knew how efficient they were, and knew that EMJ would have to compete with that efficiency. As a distributor, you're also worried about scalability. So how do you scale? And so it was a combination of fear, and I was also ready to grow, and so I've been doing EMJ for 25 years, and I thought it'd be a good time for me to grow. And so I learned a lot going to more of a corporate world.
Would you do it all over again if you had to?
I would. And the other philosophy I have is if a decision is made and done, you can't undo or do something different. So, but it was a good decision. It was. I would do it again.
Now, when Bob Wong, the CEO of Synnex, retired, that job was open. It's a job you wanted, but ultimately did not get. Any resentment on your part about that opportunity?
No, not at all. I mean, Kevin Marai, who got that position, had a much better resume. He was in the United States running a larger distributor, so he had larger company experience, U.S. Rolodex. I have some U.S. Rolodex, but not like Kevin. And so, I have no regret over that. And to a certain extent, it also opens up other possibilities for me.
Sure, like this new one that
Like
you're
this new
getting
possibility.
in
Exactly.
June, right? You mentioned to me about some of your failures, and I was quite surprised that you had any failures. Seattle Computers and Tallgrass, time has basically washed away their significance in the marketplace. But I wanted to bring up the tablet PC. That was something that you, along with Intel, Microsoft, and Acer, really pushed hard for. I remember going to the launch event. You had 400 people there. You created a lot of buzz. But ultimately, the product did not succeed the way Intel, Microsoft wanted it to. What happened there?
Well, clearly, that's one of many technologies that I've thought might work, and some of them you think I'm a genius for. So RIM, you think Jim's a genius.
Right.
Apple, iPod, you think, oh, Jim's a genius. When I signed Apple, they didn't have an iPod. So nobody ever heard of iPod. It was nothing, and it had nothing to do with my decision. But you also recall Apple Newton, which was a predecessor of the tablet, and it fell flat on its face. I was selling Apple at that time, and we sold very few and got back as many as we sold, not as many as we sold, but almost as many as we sold.
Yeah.
I used a tablet PC, and the bottom line was it just didn't at that time have the functionality. But I don't ever count any technology as down and out, and never, and it lays foundation for what the future will be. And I never regret bringing new technologies forward, and some of them thrive and some of them don't. And as far as not having failures, Paulo, I believe having failures does not make you a failure, and I believe fail often, fail fast, fail cheap. One of the reasons I'm successful is because I have failed more often than other people. The failures are the people that tend to not take any risks and not do anything. The key is to remember, fail often, fail fast, and fail cheap. So don't go risk your company on something. So you do tablet PC, invite 400 friends to a party. That's all fun anyways.
Sure.
And, but the company doesn't go under because you're not putting all of your eggs in that that basket. I don't remember what else was happening at that time, but we clearly had lots of other baskets happening.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm a big believer in failure.
You spent 30 years of your career in the IT channel. What do you think your legacy will be?
You know, I don't know what my legacy will be. To a certain extent, I think people will remember the efficiency and some of the time management stuff that you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to say. It's almost seems egotistical to say there would be a legacy, so to speak. I mean, I just
See,
ran a
that's
company.
the platform we have.
I just ran a company, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jim, I'm definitely going to miss you, and I think for sure the channel is going to miss you. You definitely provided them with a lot of new business opportunities over the years. You always were a breath of fresh air. CDN wishes you all the best. Jim Estill, everyone, thank you very much for tuning into this special two-part video interview. I'm Paul Dunley-Bledo for CDN Computer Dealer News. So long.
Thank you.